So today we will see what players need to know about Kafka, but before we start, don't forget to subscribe my channel if you haven't already to help us hit 10,000 subscribers, and if you enjoy the video, make sure to hit that like button and share the video with your friends. Now without any further ado, let's get started and see what we need to know about Kafka.
Hey guys, it's Destiny, and today we're going to be discussing everything you need to know about Kafka regarding how she operates as a character and my recommendations for her.
Sounds good to me.
Without further ado, let's get straight into it. To begin with Kafka as a character, she is a lightning nihility character who benefits highly from DOT, which is damage over time. Some forms of damage over time consist of shock, burn, wind shear, and so on. Some characters that do shock can be Serval. As for burn, you can think of himeko or hook, and for wind shear, you can primarily think of Sampo.
Yeah, there are people who literally call him shampoo, so that is good. But oh my god, imagine we have a team that is created of Himeko, Kafka and Serval. Oh my lord, this is literally a fan service team. This is going to be a crazy team. Oh my lord.
Attack, and she also hits adjacent enemies, which means
now I know what team I want to build.
Whichever enemy has two enemies beside it. Similarly to how Serval's skill works.
Okay.
Her skill also
that is a very good one.
Damage based on a percentage of DOT on the enemy, which from closed beta 2 was 100% of the damage over time inflicted onto enemies. As a result, Kafka will deal lightning damage based on her own damage capabilities, and also do damage based on the damage over time on an enemy, which can result in a good amount of damage overall.
Of course, if they didn't change the multiplier
on the enemy. As for Kafka's ultimate, she will inflict lightning damage onto all enemies with a high base chance to shock them from numerous turns, and upon receiving the shock, enemies will immediately take damage from that as well. When enemies are shocked, they'll take a percentage of Kafka's attack as lightning damage each turn. As for Kafka's talent, when an ally uses a basic attack, Kafka will immediately do a follow-up attack, which I think looks so cool by the way, as she pulls out her guns and just literally blasts the enemy.
But is it granted that she's going to do it, or does it have a chance? Like, for example, is it there is a 50% chance that Kafka is going to do the follow-up attack if one of the allies do a basic attack. Is it like this, or is it granted?
Fortunately though, this can only be triggered once per turn.
Oh, okay, so maybe it is granted if it is only once.
This talent is just nice for additional damage. As for Kafka's technique, she will deal lightning damage and also have a high base chance to shock all enemies similarly to her ultimate, and enemies will take damage each turn from Kafka's shock. Overall though, her kit looks really good, and just as a side note, this is based off her closed beta 2 kit, and just basically stuff we know officially.
Okay, so there might be changes
to her kit. I'll make sure to discuss those in future videos once we have official confirmed information.
Look at her, man.
I'm just gonna go over what we officially know. Of course though, before we get into Kafka's role and team comps, if you're enjoying this video and want to become part of the Lumi's community, make sure to subscribe, and now let's carry on.
Don't forget to subscribe my channel as well.
As for Kafka's role, she looks like she'll be a huge damage dealer on your team, especially with ideal teammates, as she could do a lot of damage through her skill dependent on how much DOT is on the enemies. Some ideal teammates as a result can be Sampo, Serval, himeko or hook, and so on. Sampo will likely be one of her best teammates.
Man, Serval, himeko, and Kafka. This is the team I will build.
The fact Sampo
of course, if I get himeko at any time.
With any of his attacks, which can be his skill, normal attack, ultimate, and so on. Sampo's skill can hit enemies an initial time on a selected enemy and then 4 more times at random, which results in a total of 5 attacks and 5 chances to inflict wind shear onto the enemy.
Which is a lot.
His ultimate deals damage to all enemies and has a base chance to make enemies take a percentage of more damage over time for 2 turns, which is incredibly useful for allowing more DOT damage output from Sampo himself and Kafka.
Yeah, that is going to be pretty broken.
As well, due to the fact that she's able to inflict shock onto enemies very consistently, and she's able to extend shocks through her ultimate, which her
and Serval at E4, she has actually a 100% chance to inflict shock on her ultimate. So if you have Serval at E4, this is pretty much ready for Kafka team.
Kafka can benefit from, as extending the damage over time allows Kafka's skill to consistently deal more damage with the secondary effects of her skill. As for himeko or hook, they can be useful for inflicting burn onto the enemy, which once again Kafka can use to her advantage in order to deal more damage with her skill. I would like to say though, I personally think Sampo or Serval, out of all the characters that can consistently do DOT, I think those two will definitely be the best partners for her. A notable mention though can be Silverwolf if you did decide to pull for her, as the weakness implantation being inflicted onto enemies can be very useful, and assuming a lightning weakness gets inflicted onto the enemy, which results in that enemy also having lowered resistances to that typing, then Kafka will definitely be able to dish out even more damage.
Yeah.
Kafka may honestly be the queen of nihility, with Sampo and Silverwolf following right behind her to destroy whatever enemies they face. Add a sustained character for heals or shields, and then bam, Kafka will dominate the enemy. Except now, instead of her dominating you in Simulated Universe, now you'll be able to dominate the
She is still dominating many people.
All their hard-earned credits.
Many
in
people
all
are
seriousness, though, if you plan to use
many people are going to pull for Kafka because they are already dominated by her. They aren't going to pull because she is good.
Silverwolf, possibly adding Serval can be really good, just so you have duo elements with that. If you do put another Quantum, that would be pretty good as well. And Bailey would actually be a really good sustained character for this team, since now you have another lightning character, so if you wanted to do duo element comp, that can also be a possibility. Eventually we'll get Fu Xuan, who is confirmed to be a quantum preservation class character.
Okay.
And she may be a good teammate for sustained purposes, and you can possibly use Silverwolf, Kafka, Serval, and Fu Xuan for a duo element team, which may be really strong overall. Of course though, once Kafka is here, I will do extensive testing as to what team comps synergize very well, and if our beloved shampoo bottle is amazing with her and the rest of the characters work as well. Once again though, I do think Serval and Sampo will likely be the best partners, just for what they're able to provide with their own skill.
Maybe Serval even more because she is
with
lightning
Kafka
also.
Overall. As for possible relic or build ideas, I would definitely look at Band of Sizzling Thunder, as it can increase her lightning damage, and when she uses skill, it'll increase her attack for a turn, which can be useful if you intend to skill and then gain ultimate and then use your ultimate, or if you have someone like Bronya on your team to go again in a turn. The shock from Kafka's ultimate lasts numerous turns, so even if you use your ultimate last in a turn cycle, it rolls over to the next turn, and you're still able to take advantage of the shock from the ultimate for your skill, as your skill will do more damage to enemies with as much DOT as possible on that enemy, as mentioned before. So either way, you'll be dishing out a really good amount of damage. As for stats, I definitely look into attack, speed, possibly the crits. I would want to test crit rate and crit damage though on her before I would personally recommend this, since from what I have seen, damage over time can't actually crit, but I would assume that her skill and ultimate should be able to crit.
Yeah.
Of course, I will test this once she's here once again, but this is just what I'm personally thinking could possibly work. And if you possibly intend to break with Kafka, break can be a really good thing to have as well. I think Kafka can actually be a pretty good breaker due to the fact of how her skill kit operates. She's able to hit multiple enemies depending on if she's using skill or ultimate. So overall, I think break might actually be pretty nice.
Yep, I agree.
Once again, she can damage numerous enemies. Once Kafka's here though, I'll be testing out builds and finding out which is the most successful for her overall.
I can't wait for her.
As for my personal thoughts on Kafka, I think she'll be really strong, and having a damage over time centric DPS looks really promising, as it'll introduce a brand new playstyle, and overall I have pretty high hopes for Kafka. Plus, she's really pretty and definitely a fan favorite design for many. I hope you all enjoyed this video, and if you want more discussions, guides, and so on, make sure to subscribe and leave a like to support the video, and comment down below what was the first thing you started playing video games on. It could be console, PC, your phone. I just honestly want to know. For me, I started on console, and I definitely started when I was really young. So I've just been playing games for basically my whole life at this point. But of course, like always, I hope you.
For me, it was console as well. Anyways, here you have it. This is what you need to know about Kafka. I think that the most important thing here is that you need to basically, in case you are intending to use her and summon for her, it's important for you to build her team already from now, since it is possible for you. So make sure to build Sampo, Serval, and if you have Himeko, you make sure to build Himeko as well, because this is pretty much her absolute best team. Maybe if you want to leave one of them outside and bring maybe a healer, then in that case you could build Bailu or maybe Luocha or basically Natasha, depending on which one you want to get. Other than that, this is pretty much the most important thing to do right now. And then after she is released and we get the official information for her skills and everything else, that's when we are going to take a look at her skills as well and whether there are drastic changes in them or not. So anyways, I hope that you enjoyed the video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe my channel to help us hit 10,000 subscribers. And until next time, Rami the Honkai King is out of here.